Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. The RTGAC is back, and today we had to have a bit of a later broadcast, if you will. Some things went on that we were not able to broadcast. But yeah, we're here and we are ready to roll. We have a lot of things to talk about. We have NBA free agency, UFC 303 just went down, and we have a lot to preview. We have a lot to react to. But before we do all that, Cole, say what's up with the people.
How's it going, everybody? Great to be back. Had a little bit of a rough week, but we're back at it again. Just happy to be back. Luckily, we had some technical difficulties with I just had some issues outside of the podcast that I had to take care of. A little bit of confusion, but it's all right. It's all said and done. We're here. So yeah, happy to be here.
We also got a bunch of a million different baseball games we got to work around as well.
Yeah.
What happened the other day? Did we win?
So we got the 1 seed, and then we ended up losing in the semifinals.
Damn.
So unlucky, but
and I was
only
here
by 1 run too.
And I was here with my prep football hoodie. I looked like I looked terrible. I had my hood on, the headphones over, like the typical 2020 style of streaming, with just kind of sitting here reacting for stuff to happen. We didn't get Paul George's stuff until 4 a.m, and I was up actually. I was waiting for it, and then I had to make a video at 4 a.m. so I could get it out by 8. But anyway, going down the rundown for this podcast, we're going to be doing our weekly Phillies recap. We will have some UFC 303 reactions. We don't have anything to preview for the UFC because we have not an event this upcoming week, but an event next week. Then we're going into the NFL. We'll be talking about Brandon Ayuk. He has made some headlines with the San Francisco 49ers. We'll be asking the question, will he stay with San Francisco? Then we'll be talking about Juan Soto, the Yankees, the San Diego trade. We're about halfway into the season. Cole will be answering the question of who won that trade. And talking about NBA free agency, we have some Paul George reactions. We'll preview how the Sixers are going to look next year. Probably also talk about a little bit more of the signings. And then Cole will give his. We'll have a Cole's top 5, not a Sully's top 5 today. We'll have Cole's top 5 of finals contenders for next season as NBA free agency has kicked off. And then we will get into Ryan's rants. Cole, the last time we talked, the Phillies had went 3-3. Talk about this team.
Yeah, Ryan, this team, it's been solid, but not great. 2 games, Ranger Suarez pitched, and we didn't win either of them. You go back to the game against Detroit. We're going up against Screwball, who is also, one of the best pitchers in the league. But you go out there and you just get, you just pretty much get cooked. Harper was the only guy who had multiple hits. Schwarber and Merrifield each had a hit, but they only had 3 hits. And you're not going to win a baseball game with 3 hits. I'll tell you that much. You might walk a couple guys. You could get a run, and that's what they did. They got 1 run, but it's obviously not enough. Tigers backed up their ace, and they got the win 4-3. But in the long run, it didn't really matter because we ended up winning the next game on Wednesday to win the series. Matt Bierling, former Philly, homered in that one. I was a little excited for him, but again, I wanted to win the game. Again, Turner, he's just been solid back from the injury. Marsh went 4 for 4 with a home run. He had an insane day. Turnbull, he did get injured in that one, I believe. So it was pretty much a bullpen game for us that entire game. But, David Dahl with an RBI. It's good to see him getting back into the mix of things. It wasn't it was a pretty ugly win, but, a good win and at that. And you do need to win some of those bullpen games, because those are going to, be happening in the playoffs. Moving on to this Marlins series. Oh boy, Jake Berger raped the whole series, to be honest. But the first game, he was just out of this world. He could. Here, let me check real quick. I believe he was 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 RBIs. I mean, that is just stupid. And, to have that stat line, especially when Wheeler is pitching, we got to back up Wheeler for one time. I mean, they got let up 2 runs through 6 2/3, and then the bullpen each let up at least like a run per inning after that. I mean, Strong, he's been solid all season. I mean, what are you going to do? He gave up 2 runs. It's not the end of the world. But then Hallman and Junior Marte, I don't really like him. I like him more in AAA, which is where he's been most of the season. But, they did call him up, and that Mercado guy, who I do actually like Mercado a lot. They brought him up because of Harper and,
I think the guy you're...
No, because of Turner.
I think is he pitching tonight? I think, Mercado's starting tonight.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what he does against, Chicago. I mean, it's going to be a rough road trip here with Chicago and then Atlanta. I mean, we do face Amanga, but I'm pretty confident that Wheeler can, match Amanga's. I mean, Amanga hasn't been great since, his leading ERA. He's been pretty bad since then. And Jameson Taillon isn't what he once was. So we should be able to win the series there, if not sweep. And then the Atlanta series, I'm not a big fan of it. Stand. You have Nola, the first game against Fried. I do like that matchup. I do like the fact that Nola's been pitching very well. Then you have Suarez versus Schwellenbach, who's been surprisingly solid for Atlanta. I mean, all their starters are solid, but Ranger, I think this is the game that Ranger, actually deals out of his mind. I feel like we're definitely going to win that game. And then Mercado versus Ronaldo Lopez. I really don't see us winning that game, especially with Turner and Harper out. Oh, wait. Schwarber might be back.
I don't know. It all depends.
I believe. He said as soon as his 10 days is up, he's going to be back. But yeah, just finishing out the Miami series. It wasn't very pretty to watch, I will admit. Aaron Nola, I mean, it was kind of a pain to watch that Aaron Nola game. You lose 3-2. You really should have won that game. That 7th inning just, I mean, what are you going to do as Nola? I mean, threw 100 pitches. I thought he was left in too long by Rob Thompson. I feel like, he went through the lineup twice, maybe 3 times. Twice. That 3rd time around the top of the lineup got to him. Stott's been stepping up pretty solid. I mean, he's been all right in the last couple games. Someone that does to step up, though, is the bottom of the order. I've been saying this. I'll keep saying it. Garrett Stubbs needs to step up more. Sosa's been great all year. He needs to continue that, though. Castellanos is looking more like himself as of late. But then Pache and Rojas and Witt should not be playing. He is our worst player right now. And I'm surprised I've been saying that because I thought he was going to be a starter. I thought he was going to start in left field at the beginning of the season. But he hasn't done anything productive. He's had a home run in London. Wait, probably not London, but he had a home run recently. I frankly don't care that he had a home run. I don't think he's good enough to play on his baseball team. I think, obviously not AAA, but $9 million to waste pretty much is what's happening here. I don't like Witt. I said this before. I'll say it again. I'm also, by the way, I'm glad Taijuan Walker's not getting, being able to start again. I'm glad that Mercado is. I will say that I'm glad that they finally let this whatever you want to call it, experiment go on long enough. I mean, Taijuan Walker's just been horrible this year. So yeah, that's a positive. And I'm happy to see what Mercado can do tonight against the Cubs. Hopefully, if he does solid, he can bring that into the game against the Braves. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
All right. I want to go back to what you were saying about Saturday. That was the game that pissed me off the most. I mean, you come in there, you have Nola pitching. He pitches really good up until the end, where he pitched 100 pitches. He got tired, but you can't put up any damn runs. I mean, come on. You were up 2-1. You have all the momentum on your side, and nobody can go out there and hit the ball. That is what really makes me mad about that game. Other than that, I don't have too many complaints. The Marlins always play us tough. It really doesn't matter if we're, an undefeated team or if we're one of the worst teams in the MLB. The Marlins always play us tough, so I don't want to get on them too much about that. You come out, you do well against the Tigers. That second game on Tuesday, while we were actually live during that game, that was a little frustrating because Ranger was out there. I expected him to keep going. These past couple of starts for Ranger, I don't know. It's up and down with him. He's like a roller coaster. I hope he can pick it up, though, because against a team like the Detroit Tigers, who are currently, not a good team at all coming out of this series. They came out 37-43, obviously below 500. I would have really liked to see a sweep there. I mean, not a bad week overall. I feel like you could have done a bit better. Obviously, against Miami, you're going to always have a tough time. Saturday really made me upset. Thursday, I don't think I was able to catch that game. I caught a little bit of it, but I mean, you came out there, and I forget who was starting. It was Wheeler who was starting. He only gave up 2 runs, and then you come out, and then Strom, Hoffman, Marte. I can't stand Marte. I'm so upset that he's on this roster right now. The injury bug is really hitting the Phillies. I really hope we can get back our guys like Turnbull and yada yada yada. But as Cole mentioned, Strom has always been decent, but he came out and he gave up 2 earned runs. I feel like the pitching this week has not been as good as I really have wanted it to be. The Phillies are up there with the Yankees. The Dodgers supposed to be one of the best rotations.
Other than Christopher Sanchez.
Sanchez has been incredible. I really will say that. He is definite. Over the past few weeks, he has been the top Phillies pitcher. And I know people might not want to consider him for Cy Young because he doesn't have the name. But, I mean, really, he's been probably the best pitcher in the National League right now. I really don't know too many pitchers that have been better than him. Maybe in the AL you can go with Corbin Burns or someone like that. But right now, I think that Sanchez has been probably the best pitcher in the
I will say they probably will put Glasnow up there.
Yeah, I forgot.
Strikeouts as well.
Off the top of my head, I think, I just say that. But, obviously if I did a little more research, I probably would not think that opinion. But anyway, pitching, I feel like it needs to be better other than Sanchez. The bullpen, it's been good, and I haven't given it any criticism. But, I mean, I've said it for the past few years. I don't care how many runs the Phillies are up. I will never trust the bullpen until the day I die. You can have an all-star bullpen, and I still wouldn't trust it just because it's the Philadelphia Phillies. Hopefully they can pick it up. Hitting, I mean, it was up and down. That was another roller coaster. You come out on Tuesday, you only put up 1 run, then you put up 6, then you put up 4, 2, 2, and then 7. It's a roller coaster with the hitting. I feel like, obviously, the injuries have been a problem. And, Cole, I will ask you a few questions about that in just a second here. These guys need to get back very quickly. I wouldn't rush them back. We do have the All-Star break coming up. But, Cole, I do have a couple questions for you. The Phillies have had a couple injuries right now. Do you think it is just the injury bug, or do you think it is something that the Phillies are doing to cause them to be injured?
It's definitely the injury bug. I mean, you saw Harper's injury. I mean, this is something that you cannot teach. Hustling down the line, bottom of the 9, 2 outs, and he ends up pulling his hamstring, trying to get on first base to spark a rally with 2 outs in the 9th. I mean, I was like, why? Why would you hustle? Like, I understand. I mean, you want to, hustle. You want to make sure, you're looking good for Philly. But still, the fact that you get injured because of that, I'd much rather just have you walk back to the dugout than bust it down the line and be out for 10-plus days. I don't really have much more on it. I mean, at this point, Harper might need to wait till the All-Star break. But Schwarber definitely, I heard it somewhere that he's definitely coming back as soon as the 10 days is up. I think he's taking BP and whatnot now. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rush Harper back. I wouldn't rush Schwarber back, but it looks like they're going to be fine pretty much as soon as the 10 days up. But Turnbull, I haven't heard much on him, so I won't comment anything.
So you kind of answered my question there about what time I think these guys should come back, but I will ask about Brandon Marsh. Turnbull, you kind of just said you don't really know anything about that. I will ask about Brandon Marsh. He has been on the injured list a couple of days, throughout the season. Do you think that sitting him out for a couple of days going into the All-Star break might be a better idea?
Not really, because he will have the All-Star break to rest. So I'd say limit his amount of playing time, but I wouldn't say completely take him out, sit him, rest him. I'd say definitely. I wouldn't say immediately start, but I don't know, just ease into things more. Again, I don't want to rush anybody back. We're 8 games up in the NL East. So, I mean, I wouldn't rush anyone right now because I don't want them getting re-injured. That's a big thing. Like I said, when Turner came back, Harper had a double, and Turner didn't score from first, which is something he would usually do. But because of that hamstring, you just don't want to push it too much. Even though if it's an extra run, if it's an extra base, if it's an extra 90 feet, if it's an extra pitch execution, I'd rather a little less effort for it to go further in the long run.
And then one last question here. While all these guys are injured, do you think it's a good time to trade for Luis Robert Jr. to see where Rob Thompson could fit him in the lineup?
100%. Luis Robert has been catching a little bit of fire recently. He's had a couple home runs in the last couple games. I'm afraid his draft stock is going to go far up, that they're going to want more. So I think right now is the perfect time to trade for a guy like Luis Robert, especially heading into the All-Star break. He can get some chemistry with some of the guys. He can get a feel for the clubhouse. He can, look for some spots in Philly to rent out. I mean, this is something that, you don't want to rush, but, I mean, you have to have a little bit of sense of urgency because, I wouldn't want to wait till the deadline to pick him up just because, I mean, we kind of have an issue right now. I mean, we have Dahl, Pache, Rojas. Castellanos has been good recently, but still, I really want him ASAP because he's doing nothing on the White Sox. I mean, what is he supposed to do on the White Sox? No one can do anything on the White Sox. You put Harper on the White Sox, they're going to win 6 extra games. That's it.
All right. I think that's all. I think that's all we have to say. The trade deadline officially is in 28 days. Cole, I know you will have a lot to say about that as we approach it. And now moving over into the UFC. I mean, first I'm going to look a bit forward, then we'll look back. Not really much to look forward to. I know that I will be talking about. We'll be talking a lot about Rose Namajunas and her fight. I'll talk about that a little bit next week. Probably not much about that. And then looking forward, we have Lemos versus I can't pronounce her name. Jander Ava. I hope that's pronounced her name correctly. Honestly, the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks, really not really much going on in the UFC. I think Namajunas versus Cortez is a big. It's a big fight for the women's flyweight division. I think that this fight could determine if Rose Namajunas can get back into that championship picture, but I'll talk about that a little bit next week. Looking back at UFC 303, I'm just going to go a little bit about the main card, Cole. I'll let you jump in there as well. Looking down, I was very impressed with Peyton Talbot. 19 second, in the exact time where he got the knockout. I mean, he was minus 2,000 on the money line. I mean, he barely had to do anything. He is a very, very, very big, up-and-comer right now. I think you got to get him on a pay-per-view card eventually. Maybe not in the upcoming future, but definitely soon. I really liked what he was able to do there. I was listening to his interview on the MMA Hour. Pretty cool guy, I'm not going to lie. And then Joe Pyfer getting that first round knockout. I mean, we might be looking at him to, get back up there in the middleweight rankings. Just for his sake, I hope he's able to, because I also was listening to his interview on the MMA Hour. He was talking about all of his, struggles when it comes to health and stuff like that. Just someone you really can't root against. He called out Paul Craig as well. So we will eventually see that fight, hopefully. And getting into the main card here, Ian Machado Gary got the unanimous decision win over Michael Venom Page. Cole, I know both you and me picked MVP to win this fight, but I honestly thought he did win this fight. I thought that, I don't think that Ian Gary won that third round. I think he definitely won the first round because of his ground control time. MVP was stuffing takedowns in the second round and landed a couple good shots in there. I thought he definitely won that second round. And then that third round they gave to Ian Gary. I personally didn't, because I thought that he was doing a very bad job trying to get MVP into that chokehold while he was on his back. MVP was playing very good defense there, while in the first round he was not playing as good defense as I really would have hoped for. So that's why I gave MVP that third round there. He wasn't the aggressor, but he was not letting Ian Machado Gary do much there. So I did give him the win to that fight. But honestly, it could have went either way. I know, the higher ups and, people are saying that why is everybody downing this fight? It wasn't a good fight. I personally wasn't too happy with how this fight went. I felt like there could have been more. I think people were just more expecting this to be a stand-up fight instead of, most of the first and the third round being, grappling and stuff like that. It is what it is. Now, going to the Macy Chiasson versus Mariah Bueno Silva. Cole, I don't know if you saw that cut with Bueno Silva. That was some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen in my life. I'm glad I didn't throw up on my stream. That was so disgusting looking. It was a doctor stoppage knockout. I don't think this puts Chiasson anywhere closer in the bantamweight rankings right now. I think she definitely was winning the fight, because that elbow, she did a really good job. She connected it perfectly, right above the eyebrow, right where you want to land that elbow. It's a real shame that this had to be stopped, but that was a very deep cut. It was borderline disgusting looking. But anyway, moving on to the Anthony Smith and Rome Dolizzi's fight. This was kind of a boring fight in my opinion. I didn't expect much from this. I expected Anthony Smith to win because of his experience in this fight, or at the light heavyweight division. But Deliz came up and he just completely dominated him with the leg kick. He landed a few good jabs in there. Smith really couldn't get anything going, I think because he got tired halfway through the fight because of that leg kick. It felt like Anthony Smith had no drive or determination in this fight to be the aggressor, to try and win this fight. It was just a very bad showing on his part. And the fact that he called out Alex Pereira after that knockout is just honestly ridiculous. But yeah, for Dolizzi, what's he really going to do with the light heavyweight rankings? He's not going to get up there with the top ranked light heavyweights, because you're not going to get a title shot there. You just beat the best, the top in a top 10 light heavyweight, so they say right now. But in the top 5, you obviously have Pereira. You're not going to beat him. You have Prochazka. He got a top 5 win before Alex Pereira. He beat Rakic. Who was ranked? Ankalaev, he's going to fight Pereira next for the championship, saying Pereira doesn't move up. And then you have, who's number 3? Jamal Hill. He's looking to get back into that title picture. I think he needs a win first in the top 5, maybe, and 6 or 7 possibly. And then you have Blanka Hovic as ranked number 4 right now. He's kind of stuck in the mix. And then Rakic coming off a loss. Hopefully he will be able to get back up there. So you don't really have a clear path in the light heavyweight division if you are Dolizzi. And then at the middleweight division, you're going to be waiting a long time as well. You obviously have Duplessis, Adesanya, Whitaker, and Sean Strickland all. They're all in the mix right now for championship shots, so you're not going to get anything going there. A good win, but nothing's going to come from it. I talked a little too long about that. But anyway, this was absolutely crazy. This Diego Lopez-Dan Ige fight. Dan Ige stepped up on 3 hours' notice to fight Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez ranked the 14th ranked featherweight in the world right now. In the featherweight division, one of the best divisions. Obviously, he had to move up. to catch weight to 165. Give him a lot of credit. Give his team a lot of credit, making sure he was hydrated correctly, making sure he was on that weight, because 2 weeks before the carb, he was fighting Brian Ortega. Obviously, Ortega couldn't take it. He got sick. He had a very high fever or whatever was happening to him. Lopez said, Brian Ortega calls him, says, we need to move up. We need to go up to lightweight. We need to move up 10 pounds. Diego Lopez gets to 155, and then he's out. And then Brian Ortega's out of the fight. Dan Ige comes in and says, I can fight at 165. I get weighed in. Lopez gets weighed in. He has to put on an extra 10 pounds. Give his team a lot of credit for getting him to that fight. Give Dan Ige a lot of credit as well. I mean, 3 hours notice, getting everybody together and making sure you were able to get to this fight. You have to give them a lot of respect. Cole, I know you probably are going to piggyback off that one.
Sir.
I mean, that is absolutely nuts. I could not imagine stepping up on 3 hours notice. Oh, Cole. Oh, there we go. All right. And then talking actually about the fight, me personally, right after the fight, I thought Dan Ige had it. I thought he took that second round, but kind of going back, reflecting on it, I did say on my broadcast, I did change it up. I did have Diego Lopez winning this fight. I mean, Dan Ige definitely won that third round. I think Lopez did take the first two. Originally, I thought Ige took the second one, but this definitely could have been a draw. I could have seen that. But it's good to see that Lopez got that win. Hopefully, he gets this gets a rematch against Ige at the spear at featherweight, or maybe he'll get Brian Ortega at the spear. I know Dan Ige has been granted a spear chance, which everybody wants to get on that card, and who wouldn't. But we'll see if that goes down. And then the main event, Alex Pereira, Potan retaining the light heavyweight championship over Yuri Prochazka. Cole, I think you saw my reaction of that knockout. I mean, that was just so sudden. It looked in the first round, it was, you saw Yuri, trying to get the advantage over Pereira. I thought he was going to go for that takedown more. He did not. But then right at the buzzer, a left hook knockdown. Some people were saying that if Yuri got his legs up, if this fight had 10 to 15 more seconds, it would have been over. I don't believe that. Yuri was able to get his legs up immediately. I think he just got rocked but knocked out. I don't think he was really dazed. I think he just was rocked by it. He was able to get his legs up. I don't think Pereira would have really been able to finish that fight just by the way Yuri had his positioning on. But then obviously in round two, I don't think people were talking about this enough. It looked like Yuri was trying to go for that takedown off the bat, and it looked like he was trying to get some, early points by the judges, if you will. Trying to start that fight on the ground, because obviously Pereira, we don't know, or we really don't know how his wrestling has been, because he hasn't fought wrestlers in the last two fights. But, I think he was going for that takedown, and I think Pereira already had that leg kick dialed up. Apparently his coach said on the MMA Hour that Pereira said he was going to hit him with a head kick. And Yuri put his hands down, and he was not able to block that head kick, and just a beautiful head kick from Pereira was able to finish the fight in 13 seconds in the second round. Where Pereira goes from here, I think you have to give Ankalaev his chance. I think we have to see Pereira on the ground before he moves up to heavyweight. This whole thing with John Jones saying that Pereira needs to fight Aspinall, absolutely not. That is not how this works. John Jones needs to fight. If he wants to fight Stipe Miocic, he can go do that. Then you have to go fight Aspinall. Pereira, you're not moving up to go fight an interim champion. If I'm Pereira, I'm not doing that. I'm staying right where I am in that case. I'm going to wait for John Jones to fight Tom Aspinall. There's no way I'm doing that. But right now, what's next for Pereira? I'd say give Ankalaev his shot. You've beaten everybody in the top five. You just beat Yuri. You beat or you have to fight Ankalaev. You beat Jamal Hill. Apparently, he wants his rematch, but once again, he needs to fight another top five fight, in my opinion. And then I think you need to beat. You already you beat Jamal Hill. You already beat Blachowicz, and then Rockage is coming off a loss. So face Ankalaev, and if John Jones is ready to fight you after that, then do it. And then, go from there. Cole, anything about this card?
Yeah, I'll just give my quick thoughts on each match. I did think that Michael Page, I think it could have gone to him. I definitely didn't think it was unanimous, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? I thought it should have gone to split decision, but
one question.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up one thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I with Ian Gary, if I were him and he did say this, I would be done with Colby Covington. I would not want to fight Colby Covington anymore. I'm looking to go fight somebody bigger at welterweight right now. Colby Covington's running. He maybe not be running, but he's not prepared. He's not ready. He hasn't won a fight in like 2 years. I'm done dealing with Colby Covington. I'm going for damn it, I forget how to say his name. Strahakic. I can't pronounce his name. I blanked on it, but you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I'd go fight him in the top 5. I wouldn't deal with Colby Covington. Cole?
Yeah, and then I'm not going to talk about Bueno Silva. That was horrific.
That was terrible.
Wait, how do you say his name? Delize.
Cole, I couldn't pronounce it either before this fight. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, and I still can't pronounce it. So, Anthony Smith, I mean, like you said, I mean, I thought his his experience would prevail, but it obviously didn't here. Yeah, I mean, Roman pretty much dominated this fight. I didn't really think Anthony Smith had a chance here. I agree with the unanimous decision. Yeah, I mean, Anthony Smith was just gas at the end of this match. I'm surprised it went all the way. I'm surprised Roman didn't. I don't even know. I don't even think he would have submitted him, but knocked him out, most likely. And then the Diego Lopez fight, Danny Ige put up, I mean, I was surprised on how well he fought.
I know. He came out and won that 3rd round.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think it was unanimous decision. I really thought it was a split decision, but I will give it to Lopez. But in my opinion, Ige won because he only had 3 hours notice. So my bonus points go to him, and he's my winner. I know it sounds a little bit corny, but whatever. I like him better. And then Alex Pereira, I mean, that was nasty. I mean, I did not see that kid coming from anywhere. And I definitely don't think Yuri saw it either because, he ended up on the floor after 2 seconds. And, that was pretty much it. I mean, I was surprised how fiery Pereira came out of that into that 2nd round. And, yeah, definitely thought he was going to win, but not like that. That was incredible. I did have him for submission, but still hasn't happened yet. Hopefully, or maybe one day he can get a submission. So,
yeah.
Got on it.
Moving on a little bit to this 304 card. I want to talk a little bit about that. Or actually, I'll talk a little about 304. That's probably our next big event. We have Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. That'll be something. The poster for this is absolutely terrible. Cole, if you look up the UFC 304 poster, it is such a terrible poster. It is so it's just like nothing. It looks terrible. Aspinall Blades, that'll be an interesting one. I think Curtis Blades could potentially, he could potentially win this fight. I'll probably end up taking Aspinall, but anyway, I'm very interested for Patty. What?
Why is it sideways?
I don't know. It's terrible. They're trying to market this as 2 title fights, but one's an interim title fight. I think this is just to appeal to the younger or the fans who don't know what the hell's going on. It looks terrible. Anyway,
I mean, they got me lost. I mean, what are they doing here with the 2? Oh my gosh.
I'm looking very forward to this fight or these fights on 304. But anyway, while the poster does not give me enthusiasm, the actual fights do. Anyway, the fact that this card is in Manchester and it's just to appeal to the American fans, it's going to take place at 4 a.m. in Manchester. Are you telling me that fans are going to show up at 4 a.m. for this fight for this card? That just doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure why, it's to appeal to the American fans. I mean, at this point, I just kind of feel bad. I just feel bad, that they're trying to appeal to us. I don't know.
I will say, I'm very excited for this card as well.
I am.
2 of my favorite fighters here, Patty Pimblett and Leon Edwards.
You're still a fan of Patty Pimblett?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now I want to look back at the pound-for-pound rankings for just a second. The rankings just came out. Islam Makhachev, number 1. What do you call it? Alex Pereira, number 2, and John Jones, number 3. First of all, Cole, you know it, and I will say it again. John Jones should be stripped of the heavyweight championship. He is not active. He is not fighting. He can fight, but he chooses not to fight. He is waiting. He is waiting for an injured Stipe Miocic. He is 41 years old. He should be fighting Tom Aspinall at 304, 305, 306, whatever you want to call it. But I don't care what anybody says. John Jones should be stripped of the heavyweight championship. He should not even be ranked as a pound-for-pound fighter right now, and I will stand by that until the day I die. But right now, I do agree that Islam Makhachev is number 1. I think if you take everything into consideration, if everything is equal, which is what pound for pound pretty much is, the best overall fighter, and if everything was equal, I think that, the wrestling of Islam Makhachev is a lot better than Alex Pereira. His striking might not be as good, but it is definitely up there. And with what you have seen from Islam as of late, Pereira definitely is more active, but the wins that Islam Makhachev has had of late, I think that I hold them to a little bit of a higher value than Alex Pereira, though he did beat Volkanovski at featherweight. But I think that win over Poirier, and Poirier gave him a really tough fight. Poirier was hot before coming into that fight. I hold that to a little higher regard than I do for Yuri. I don't know. Pereira, I feel like they are like equal right now. Like I feel like you can't really give a definitive answer. I feel like they're kind of tied right now for like pound for pound because there's definitely very good arguments for both. I don't know. Cole, you I don't know. You have anything to say about that one?
No, I got nothing.
Pound for pound. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Actually, I will say something.
Yeah.
You know what? Something. I do think Islam Makhachev is the best. I do like how Pereira went up, especially because of his knockout last night. I don't really see John Jones on here. I don't know.
They did come out. That might be an old ranking. I don't know.
Maybe.
Are we sure? I don't know. But I know John Jones was ranked number 3. I think. And let me make sure. Let me make sure.
Go check because I don't think he is.
If he is, then I
I don't know. The one that I'm looking at is 7 hours ago, and he's off the list.
Are you kidding me? Am I stupid? After
Leon Edwards is 3.
Really? I must be dumb.
Yeah.
I must be dumb. I'm probably not looking at the right list. Who's number 1 then? Islam's 1.
Makachev's number 1.
And then it's
Pereira's 2.
And then who's 3?
Leon.
And then who's?
Oh,
you are right. I'm looking at the wrong list. I just went on a whole rant about John Jones shouldn't be ranked, and he's not even in the top 10 right now. Anyway, so it's Leon. Leon went down obviously because Pereira just won. O'Malley should be above Topuria. Well, actually, he'll fight before Topuria. He should probably beat Merab, and then he'll be ranked probably 4, depending on what Leon does. Adesanya moved down. That's surprising because he has a fight coming up. What did they do? They put Volkanovski?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Volkanovski at 7. They were tied, I think, last time.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'll be right back. I have to just hold on. Cole, can you start out talking about now we're moving on. We're going to transition here into the back to the MLB, then we'll get into the NFL. I'm not going to miss my NFL topic this week. So yeah, Cole, the San Diego Padres and New York Yankees trade for Juan Soto. We have seen how both teams are doing. Can you talk about who has won this trade? I will be right back in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, so I'll start. This trade is probably one of the biggest trades we've seen in later years. Obviously, the Padres getting what they think is their star of the future in Juan Soto. But they ended up not being, ended up not being contenders with him. So I mean, really, the Nationals completely won this trade in my book. You look back, they drafted James Wood with their pick, and who is now debuting, and he did single last night in his debut on Monday. So props to him. They also got C.J. Abrams, who, in my opinion, is a top 5 shortstop in the league right now. I believe he was, I wouldn't say robbed of All-Star, but I mean, I think he should have been in contention for one more than where he was at. It's probably because he's missed a couple of games, though. He's only played 74. But he is hitting 280 with, 13 bombs, 42 RBIs, which isn't, great, but, it's better than other times. Mackenzie Gore, he is now in the starting lineup, 16 starts, 6-7, 3.6 ERA, 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. That is what you like to see. I'm excited. He's got tons and tons of upside. I think he can really, progress as, the season goes along. There's not much hope right now in Washington, but again, Mackenzie Gore is a light spot along with James Wood and along with Mackenzie Gore. Then they also got Robert Hassel III. He was the Padres' #1 prospect, during the trade. Now he's Nationals' 8th prospect. He's in Double-A right now. He's played 50 games, batting .280 with 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's probably won't make it to the majors, but, he's not the worst. Piece we've seen to the puzzle. We also got Harleen Susanna. He's all right. He's playing single-A right now. He's getting absolutely lit up, so he's probably the worst out of the guys that they've gotten. They also got Luke Voigt. He's playing in Mexico right now, so I don't think he's helping them out very much. But, you look at the headlines of this deal. You look at James Wood, you look at C.J. Abrams, and you're like, wow, they really, really hooked on this deal. And Soto and we're out of there in 2 years, I believe. So, yeah. Josh Bell's on the Marlins, Juan Soto's on the Yankees. They're both having all right seasons. Josh Bell batted under 200 with the Padres. And Soto batted .260. Worst of his career. He had 41 home runs in his span from the deadline to the end of the 2023 season. He was great, but up to his standards, he wasn't good at all. And now he's absolutely rigging with the Yankees. And the Nationals now have a core dynasty around these young guys. So, to me, this is a blatant Nationals win. I'm grading it an A for the Nationals, and I'm grading it a B- for the Padres.
How couldn't you? Look at obviously right now you would have to say with the Yankees and Padres, you have to say right now because the Yankees have won. Because look at what the Yankees are doing right now. But if he doesn't end up staying, and then the guys that the Padres got turned out to be all right, they didn't get as much as what they traded for Juan Soto, which was Abrams, who has turned into a very good player. Wood, who made his MLB debut like last night or whatever, right? Or am I tripping?
Yep.
Yeah, he got a hit. Yeah, his first at bat was a hit. He played pretty well. He's what is he like 6'7", 240, and he runs like a flash. He's fast as hell. I was watching the highlights from that game yesterday, but he's looking really good. You obviously have Abrams. You mentioned one of the better shortstops in the National League. Obviously, the Nationals not the best team right now, so you can't really, he's not really talked about in such high of a regard. But when it comes to San Diego, you got to the you didn't really do much with this. You got him, you got Bell, and then you really just did nothing else. No World Series appearance. You didn't, nobody really did anything. Nobody really stood out. I mean, this was just bad.
You went LCS. That was it.
Now, yeah, you got to the NLCS, but then you lost to the Phillies. So you didn't really do anything, and then you just traded him away for pennies on the dollar. So, and then you also lost Josh Bell, who didn't perform well. I mean, the Padres. They traded away everything, and they just really didn't improve. It feels like to put it in NBA terms, it feels like DeJounte Murray when he got traded to the Hawks. It was supposed to be an improvement on their team, but they just didn't improve at all. They were kind of just the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely agree with Cole. I'd say that this trade was, probably an A minus, whatever you want to call it, depending on how well the Nationals do in the next few years. And then this is around a D F sort of scenario for the Padres because they're not even a good team right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They were above 500, so we will give them that.
They're a decent team, but they're not a World Series contender.
Because they're not the best in their division because they got the Dodgers with the $1 billion payroll.
I know. Anyway, moving on. I think that's it. I don't think there's really much more to say about that one.
All right.
Now it's going into the NFL. I don't really have much to say about this, but it's been and we have to talk about something when it comes to the NFL. And this has been the biggest headline. Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers. Brandon Ayuk has been in some trade talks, but recently had a meeting with the San Francisco 49ers saying that he, wants to stay with the 49ers and he's happy with where he's at, but yet does not have a contract and is still on his rookie deal. James Hansen, get out of my chat because Drake May is not anywhere close near the rookie of the year. Not going to happen. Thank you very much. But yeah, I will start here and I will turn it over to Cole in a minute. With Brandon Ayuk and San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they're not going to be able to afford him. You have to pay him, close to what, close to what some of these other receivers are paying. I think that he is, a tier probably below guys like Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. I think Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the NFL, but he has to be at least a tier below Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. These guys haven't even gotten paid yet, so you're probably going to have to pay Brandon Ayuk to be probably what it is, the 5th highest paid receiver in the NFL. Honestly, if you would have paid him now or at least 2 years ago, and that deal wouldn't have kicked in until next season or in about 2 years, you probably would have had next season, you probably would have been able to work it out a bit better, and you could have moved some pieces that were not Brandon Ayuk, could have been Brandon Ayuk or some of the better players on your team. Cole, you gave the Jaguars a lot of BS for signing Trevor Lawrence to be the highest paid quarterback. But, I mentioned on the show and I mentioned, in other places that Trevor Lawrence, that deal doesn't kick in for another few seasons. So by that time, he's probably going to be the 6th, 7th, maybe 5th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And we'll see how much improvement he makes then. So I feel like if you would have been able to sign Brandon Ayuk a year ago, you could have just avoided all this. And you probably could have traded something else that wouldn't have meant much, maybe on the defense or try and cut costs somewhere else. I mean, because you got to pay Brock Purdy soon, probably next year. So I feel like.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy's making nothing. I mean, he's making like what, $700K a year?
Yeah, he's the hottest the last pick of the draft. I mean, he's making absolutely nothing on a rookie deal. So I feel like it's either do or die for the 49ers. You win the Super Bowl and you try and figure it out next year, or else he takes a pay cut, Brandon Ayuk. But I'm not taking a pay cut. Deebo Samuel got paid. Even Christian McCaffrey got paid. Brock, they're going to give Brock Purdy his money. Trent Williams is getting paid a hefty price.
Williams got paid, yep.
On the defensive side, Bosa's gotten paid. Ward got paid. I mean, everybody's gotten paid except for Brandon Ayuk. I'm not taking no pay cut. So it's either, you go somewhere else and you test your luck somewhere, or you just figure it out now. But honestly, if I was Brandon Ayuk, I really wouldn't want to step on the field without a contract. But it seems like he's betting on himself.
Fred Warner got paid.
Right, yeah.
Did Greenlaw get paid?
Yes, he got a contract. I think he got a contract. So everybody got paid except for Brandon Ayuk. If I'm him, I wouldn't step on that field without a deal. But he's going to do it, it seems like. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Of course. And I mean, there are a ton of other contenders that would love to have him. I know one. I'm looking at the Ravens.
The Ravens? Ooh, that's not a bad idea. I don't know. Him with Zay Flowers could be a good idea. The Commanders have been the top team, but honestly, I mean, you have so many other receivers that, you don't really need them.
Dotson, McLaurin, Didn't they pick up someone in the draft or something?
Yeah. Yeah, you have decent receivers, so I don't think you really need him.
Yeah.
I love Jonathan Dotson. I mean, he's a
Eckler as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have weapons. You don't need. I mean, is there any other teams out there? The Patriots have been considered, but I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't.
Well, yeah, as the worst team in the league, they would never be considered for any type of signing like that. Obviously, especially with Drake May, an unproven rookie who is never going to live up to any expectations that Bill Belichick would put on his name. Even though Bill Belichick's not your coach anymore, so it's going to be dragged through the mud by an intern who doesn't know what he's doing, and you're win around 1 to 2 games. This season. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's going to the Patriots.
Some very strong opinions. Some indirect.
So I know he's in our chat.
Some indirect, but not indirect shots to a certain someone. Yeah, but I agree with you. I don't think the Patriots are going to be considered. But anyway, I think that's really it when it comes to Brandon Ayuk. I don't think there's much more to say about that. I do want to talk about Paul George. I was able to sing. I sang it on my TikTok. I'm going to sing it now. What can I say except we got him? Paul George. 4 years, $212 million. I will start. Call turn over you in a few minutes. I have a lot to say. I feel like the people who are just hating, well, not hating, but there is some real concern about paying him that full max contract. But I will say this: the Philadelphia 76ers, they had the money to do it. They still have some. They have a little bit left over now. You got. I'll talk about the other moves in just a second, but. You also go check this out. I made a YouTube video about it. You guys want to go check that out when you're done listening to this. Make sure you guys go do that. But, I mean, the Sixers can afford it. It's not like the Sixers could not afford Paul George. They wouldn't have signed anybody else like Oubre, Drummond, Gordon, yada, 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 if they didn't think they couldn't have afforded it. So, I think it's fine giving him the full max. And also, this is the Sixers' last chance with Embiid. Embiid, this is probably going to be his, not the last, but probably maybe second to last max contract he is going to, get, in my opinion, because of the way his knees are built, which are just not good at all. So you had to pay Paul George whatever he wanted because this is your last chance to go compete for a championship. So I really like Paul George. I think his relationship on the court with Joel Embiid is going to be very, very good. Joel Embiid likes to kick out the ball in the wing when he does get double teamed. So when that does take place, you now have an all-star wing in Paul George that is able to shoot the 3-ball, that is able to shoot the jumper, that is able to drive to the rim. So when Joel Embiid does need to pass the ball out to the wing, he will have Paul George wide open there. His relationship with Tyrese Maxey on the court is going to be an interesting one, in my opinion, because of the fact that, Maxey just got a whole new contract and he's looking, to become an all-star. And Paul George obviously is going to want the ball in his hands as well. He can play off the ball, but he's definitely going to want his shots as well. So his relationship with Tyrese Maxey on the court will be an interesting one, to say the very least. I broke this all down on YouTube once again, if you guys want to go check that out. And then the other signings, Eric Gordon brought on like a veteran minimum. That doesn't really count against the cap, so you're fine there. You brought back Kelly Oubre. I was very happy to see that there. That's also has a player option as well. So if he does opt in and doesn't play that well next year, we'll have some flexibility to trade him. And then you sign Andre Drummond, who, in my opinion, other than Paul George, that's my favorite signing so far. I was very upset when they traded him a few years ago for James Harden. I was very upset that we had to get rid of him. But he's a rebounder. He does not need to score. Cole, you remember when I was talking about it all throughout last year, that we needed a rebounder.
And I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I was at the Sixers game when we played the Timberwolves in 2021. Anyways, Drummond and Curry were still on the team. And anyways, what happened was we had a free throw and we were down 2 seconds left on the clock. And so he missed the free throw and Andre Drummond got the tip in and it forced overtime. It ended up going to double overtime. D'Angelo Russell was elite for the Timberwolves. They ended up winning. But anyways.
I actually remember this game. I remember you talking about this. I remember this. But yeah, Drummond, that's my second favorite signing. 2 years, $10 million. Really not that bad at all. I mean, for what his role is going to be, I think it's a pretty good salary. And saying the fact that the league is overpaying guys like crazy. I mean,
he's not being overpaid because
definitely not.
If he played the whole game, he's averaging 18 rebounds per game.
Exactly.
So that's something I'm excited about. Yeah.
But obviously, I think the Boston Celtics, as much as I hate to say it, are obviously the top team. They are, they're the ones being hunted right now. The Sixers and the Knicks are hunting. I think right now the Sixers and the Knicks are pretty equal. I think the Knicks, they have a lot better of a depth team. They're kind of they're kind of going into this new philosophy of, hey, we have 8 guys. We don't need superstars. We have these 8 or 9 guys that can really, play very well for us. And the only problem with this team is that they have they don't have a center. That injuries is obviously a problem, but they don't have a center. They do not have a center at all. They have interest in Walker Kessler, but what the Utah Jazz have wanted for their for what they've wanted for their guys in the past couple of years, I doubt the Knicks will. Actually, they could, but I don't think they're giving up any of their depth. I think they're going to want to give up. They can afford to give up draft picks, but I don't think they want to give up their depth. I think that's something also that Utah is going to want. He is on a rookie contract, so getting Walker Kessler in there wouldn't be the worst idea. Just the right price would have to be agreed to upon. I think the Sixers right now pretty equal to the Knicks. I think they're superstars. Level the playing field. But I think that's good right there. I think they're pretty equal. A team that and then Cole, after I say this, I'll turn it over to you. I think a team that has probably been the biggest loser of free agency is the Milwaukee Bucks.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, what have they done? They haven't done anything. They're coming back with the same roster next year, and there's no way they're better than the Sixers, Knicks, or Celtics right now. How they're not even better than the Pacers? Hell, even the Magic just got Caldwell Pope too. They're not even better than 6 teams right now. They have been the biggest losers so far. But Cole, saying all of that and knowing that you probably have some fresh ideas and some.
I have a ton of things to say, Ryan.
All right, so we'll turn it over to you.
I'm getting a little antsy over here.
All right.
So, anyways, I wanted to start off. I knew Mikal was getting traded. I called it. I thought it was before first rounders. It was 5. I don't think they're going to trade for Walker Kessler because they really don't have any more firsts to give up.
They do. They have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years.
That aren't theirs?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just know they have 5 first-round picks in the next 3 years.
Anyways, I don't think they're going to trade for him. Anyways, I love the Drummond signing. So here's what we need. We don't need a guy who needs to play X amount of minutes because when it comes to player time, he's going to get 6 to 8 minutes because he's going to be on the floor for 40. You know what he brings to the table. He's been here before, and you know the sense of, he's going to get rebounds. He's going to, clean up on the glass. And then I'll go over to Paul George in a minute. So here's the thing that's different with Paul George. With the Clippers, with the Thunder, with the Pacers, they've all asked him, here, be a leader and, be the best guy on this team. Be the franchise piece that we need. So I'm gonna go back to this. We don't need him to be a franchise player. He played 74 games, I believe, last year. Averaged 22 points per game. That is what we need. Because you look at Embiid, he gets hurt. You look at Max, he got hurt last season. You look at these 2 guys, they're the superstars. We don't need Paul George to do all that. We just need him to be better, And I mean, obviously, he's had his moments in the playoffs, good and bad. But here's one thing I'll go back to. He's a third option. I mean, just putting it simple. I mean, the Sixers needed to make this move. They made a great move. But now it's up to Paul George to not, pressure any of the guys, to not take away shots from Max or Embiid, just to be there, be ready to be kicked out. Because, Maxey likes to drive quick. He likes to either lay it off high off the glass or he likes to kick it out to his shooters. Tobias Harris is apparently a ghost because he can't make any shots. So we know that Paul George is consistent. He shot, I believe, 41 from was it 41 from three? Anyways, shot 41 from the clip from three, and he's been solid. He's been solid with the Clippers, and I think he'll bring a lot to this squad. I think he's going to bring a lot of great. I don't even know what words to describe this. I'm just so happy. It's kind of like similar to the Bryce Harper signing, just a little bit less. And then I'm really happy that we extended Max. That was so clutch.
Another.
I'm a little bit sad we didn't bring back Melton.
That's another one.
It is what it is. Well, we got Eric Gordon for less money. I'd much rather get Eric Gordon for like $3 million than Melton for 13 or whatever he got. He got a bag at Golden State. But yeah, I'm really excited about this team. It's giving me more hope.
It is going to be interesting about who's the starting shooting guard is going to be, because you lost Melton. Buddy Hield is probably going to get more money elsewhere, and I don't know.
Hield will not be a Sixer at the end of this.
Yeah,
because I don't like how Hield performed in the playoffs. He forgot how to shoot a basketball.
So yeah, I don't really know who the starting shooting guard is really going to be.
Here's what I think the lineup is. I think it's Maxey, Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Joel Embiid.
I was going to suggest that. I think that's not bad. Because
I don't mind Kelly at 3.
I don't think that's bad. I feel like you can move Kelly to the 2 instead. Because I feel like, I don't know, but he only shot like 30-something% from 3. I don't know. Depends on what else you're doing for it. I feel like you need a better starting shooting guard, in my opinion.
You go Campaign. He's solid.
Campaign has some issues off the court. So
anyway,
moving on.
So he has trouble checking if there's car coming down the middle of the road when he's crossing.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I think that's really all I have to say about that there. Now, Cole. It's instead of Sully's top 5, it's going to be Cole's top 5. Top 5 NBA championship contenders next year.
Yep. So I know someone in this chat isn't going to like this, but I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to put the Celtics at 1. They won the finals this year. Pretty dominant run, even though it was a Mickey Mouse ring. I don't really have much more to say. They paid everyone possible on that team. Paid Porzingis, paid Holiday, paid White, paid Tatum, paid Brown.
They even brought back Cornet.
Oh, yeah, they brought back Cornet for, like, some, I don't know.
Like a minimum.
Anyways, it's the exact same team that just won the finals, so obviously they're going to be a 1. Number 2, I got the Nuggets. Nuggets are still a huge threat. I understand that the Timberwolves knocked them out, but this Nuggets team is not a team that you want to mess around with. Jokic is the best player in the world right now. Jamal Murray, we know he's clutch during the playoffs. He had 2 buzzer beaters versus the Lakers to send them home in 4. You got Michael Porter Jr., who will never pass up a shot if he's open. Aaron Gordon, they just have a great role pieces over there. Number 3, I got the Sixers. I believe that they will be the ones to come out of the Eastern Conference when it's the playoffs. I think they're going to get past the second round. I think Paul George is going to be that key that they need to open the front door. I definitely think that the Sixers are number 3, especially with the Paul George signing. We saw how well Tobias did in that elimination game. What an incredible performance. Scoring 0 points is just beyond me. Anyways, moving on to another person who scored 0 points. The Dallas Mavericks recently acquired Klay Thompson, who went 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3 in his playoff game this year. I'm excited because Klay Thompson is former teammates with one of these stars. He was former teammates with Kyrie Irving. They played on the U.S. national team together. I'm excited for what they're going to bring. Obviously, Luka. The Mavericks just had their playoff mishaps in the finals, but, we saw what they did earlier. They were just incredible. And then, number 5, I was going to have a tie between the Timberwolves and Knicks, but I'm just going to roll with the Timberwolves. I think they have a better core. Rudy Gobert, DPOY, even though he was robbed. I believe Wembanyama should have been DPOY. Even though Ryan disagreed with me, I still think it should have happened. Karl-Anthony Towns, nowhere in Western Conference Finals, just nowhere to be seen at all. Anthony Edwards, although he was hot in the first 2 rounds, and again in the Western Conference Finals, he completely cooled off when they got swept by the Mavericks. I do think Mike Conley, his whatever you want to call it, his expertise and longevity and experience really helped this team going into this playoffs. But now they have more experience. I think they can do it on their own this time. I'm really excited to see what they'll do back in this situation when it comes to playoff time next one. And then, yeah, let's throw the Knicks in there at 5 again. Why not? Mikal Bridges, I mean, it's literally the Knicks, or it's the Villanova Knicks at this point. They won the national championship. I wouldn't be surprised if they won an NBA Finals. So, yeah, that's my list. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know.
I agree with most of it. The one I highly disagree with is the Denver Nuggets at 2. I don't even have them in the top 5. I have them at like 6.
Wow.
Because I'm going to tell you. Because right now, I have Celtics 1, Timberwolves 2. What do you call it? I have the Knicks 3. Hold on, I gotta pull out my list. Or not list, but I gotta pull out like my I gotta pull out the standings. Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of this.
You're all good.
Hold on. Okay, so I got Boston, Minnesota. Forgot about Dallas. Ooh. I'd say the Knicks, and Dallas, and then I forgot about Oklahoma City. Boston, Minnesota. I don't know. This is tough. Boston, Minnesota, possibly the Knicks. The Knicks and Mavs can differ, and then I'll go Oklahoma City, and then I'll put the Nuggets at 7 or 6, and I'll put the Sixers at 7. Actually, I don't know. I gotta think about this.
I don't care. The Nuggets are higher. You're undervaluing how good Jokic is.
No, I'm not undervaluing how good Jokic is. I'm undervaluing their bench because the problem in the playoffs was their bench. They had the Timberwolves did a lot better than them when it came to depth. It wasn't that Jokic, Murray, Porter weren't good. It's that they had nobody on the bench to get it done, and they didn't upgrade that yet.
Yeah, and they lost KCP, who I believe is one of the best role players in the entire NBA. 2 rings, and he has 60% true shooting percentage. I really wanted to get him or Najee Marshall, either one. But we ended up getting Eric Gordon, so I'm not that mad, but much rather have Najee Marshall than Eric Gordon or KCP. But obviously, those 2 have been signed. One other guy I would want the Sixers to go out for, I've heard 2. I've heard of one rumor, and then I want to make mine. So, my rumor, Sadiq Bey, he opted out of Atlanta.
He's from Villanova, too. He's from Villanova.
14 points per game.
He's coming off a torn ACL, though.
What?
He's coming off a torn ACL. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't really care about those injuries because, I mean, we've dealt with a guy who has had a bum ACL as well in the name of James Harden. I think they hired an ACL doctor for Harden. He's still on contract, I believe, so wouldn't mind Sadiq Bey on the team. And then my other one, trade for Lauri Markkanen. You were going to try and set up a trade package for Jimmy Butler. I don't care. Markkanen, you were just talking about who are we going to put at the 2 guard.
Yeah, but we'd have to give up too much. We'd have to give up too much, Cole.
Put MD at the 5. That's a championship starting 5 right there. I mean, yeah, whatever.
We'd have to give up too much. Everybody knows Chisel on this.
Too much. This is our last chance. This is our last chance. You just said it yourself.
I did, but everybody knows Chisel on this channel. But Chisel said this too, and I'm saying no. We have to give out like 4 first-round picks and role players as well. I don't want to do that. My God.
Good. I hope we give up role players. We never see anyone in the playoffs. We have Drummond. We have Eric Gordon. They can be our role players.
You're not wrong, but I don't want to give up 4 first-round picks. Because even if this all doesn't work out, then you don't have a future. Because there's still is a possibility.
That's the process. We've been through it. I mean, might as well, right? I mean, still got the Phillies and the Eagles who are doing well.
Well, even if you do trade for Markin, Boston probably is as a team is better because they have a year under their belt. I don't know. Anyway, I want to get my final.
Boston's a bunch of bums. That's what they are.
I want to give. I do want to. Okay, don't say the Sixers don't have cap left because the Celtics are gonna have to blow it up in a year. They have 2 more. They have 1 or 2 more years.
They are super.
All right, I want to give my final list. Bought for top 5 contenders: Boston, Minnesota, Dallas, the Knicks, Philadelphia, and then I'll throw out the Nuggets, and then maybe or actually no. Thunder at 6, Denver at 7.
I'm changing mine. I'm putting the Celtics at 30th because I don't believe they have what it takes to win another ring.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Oh shoot! I just got rid of the tweet. Hold on. I just had a little bit of news. I just got rid of the tweet. Let me pull it right back up very quickly. So some stuff coming in from about 30 minutes ago. This is about DeMar DeRozan and the Miami Heat. So from Barry Jackson. He says, after initial discussion between the sides, a Heat follow-up on DeRozan is expected in the next 24 hours. There's no indication Miami would move mountains to sign him, but they've said that they like him, especially if at bargain. In general, they have been eager to explore other things instead of immediately signing Highsmith, which remains a strong option for Miami. Caleb Martin seems priced out. So DeRozan rumored to the Heat from what this tweet says, it seems like they only want him for the right price and they're not desperate to go sign him. Cole, anything? Do you think that he does end up in the Heat in the next week?
It's going to the Lakers.
I don't know. Here's the thing about the Lakers. The Lakers are screwed. The Lakers are screwed because LeBron James is ridiculous. He won't take a pay cut. The only way he's taking a pay cut is if they go get a superstar. Well, why aren't you taking a pay cut one way or the other? How much money does LeBron make per year? You can't tell me he does not make more in endorsements than NBA money. He makes more than $50 million in endorsements than he does in his which is what his salary would be.
More than his NBA contract on his liquor company.
Exactly. There's no way that LeBron can't take a pay cut whether they sign a star or not. I mean, come on. You want to win a championship, then be my guest and take a pay cut. But if you don't, okay, then you're not going to pass Jordan. Not my problem. Anyway, I personally think that DeRozan ends up with the Clippers. I think that they need him. I think the pairing between Harden and Kawhi is just not going to work out. I know that they re-signed Batum and they still have some half-decent role players, but I feel like they need another option. And I think DeRozan would be the best one. The Lakers aren't out of the possibility, but
I will say one thing. I think Luke Kennard is going back to the Clippers.
Possibly. Also, I don't think that DeRozan should even want to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. Why would you want to play for the Lakers right now?
I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
I was going to say something, but I lost the words. Bronny and Bron.
Yeah, God forbid.
No, Bron, pass me the ball. Which Bron?
Exactly. That's actually so true. Anyway, all right.
They call him Junior. Maybe that's what they'll do.
Anyway, Ryan's rants. I think that's it. Do we have anything else?
Nope.
All right. So we got Ryan's rants. Cole, give me that first topic.
Well, pretty on cue. We got the Lakers.
The Lakers. I just mentioned this. Why is LeBron James not going to take a pay cut no matter what? This is honestly ridiculous. No matter what, the Lakers are screwed. Because even if they go get a superstar like DeMar DeRozan, then they're not going to win a championship. You want to know why? Because you got about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams that are better than you right now. And then guess what else? If you don't get a superstar, you're going back with the same roster. And LeBron James, who is 39 years old, is going to be making $50 million next season. That cannot happen if you are the Los Angeles. Jesus, I'm burping crazy. Excuse me. As crazy if you were the Los Angeles Lakers. they're done. They're absolutely done. Rookie head coach, 39-year-old superstar that's going to get 20, 30 shots up per game, and then you have nobody else. I don't. Now listen, I don't. This now nepotism thing with Bronny James, I could definitely see what people are talking about, but honestly, at the end of the day, when does the 55th pick ever end up turning out? So what's the whole problem? They drafted him to keep LeBron happy. If there was their first round pick, I could see, but it's their 55th pick. Who's been the 55th pick for the last 3 years? I don't know. Like, come, that's petty by the fans at that point. If he was like a first round pick, yes, but at this point, what's the problem with it? I don't see it. I think people just want to hate on LeBron. Now, I'm not a LeBron fan by any means, but at that point, now you're just being ridiculous. Anyway, moving on.
All right, Teofimo Lopez.
Okay, Teofimo Lopez, I've had enough. Nobody watched your fight, first of all, because everybody was watching UFC 303. I want to point that out for the record. Second off, I mean, you fought a bum. What's his name? How do you pronounce his name again? I got to pull it up. What is his name? Steve Claggett? Who the hell is that? This guy has never fought in a 12-round fight before, and he is way below your skill level. You couldn't even knock him out. It had to go to the judges. Are you absolutely kidding me? And now you want to move up to 147 and fight Terrence Crawford, the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, or, arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? I believe he is, but some people don't. But arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford? Are you absolutely kidding me? You handpicked a bum, and then you want to go out and move up to fight the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world? Are you absolutely mad? Absolutely not. Last topic.
On the last one. Jaron hate.
I am hating this Jaron McCain hate, everybody. I don't care what he does with himself. I don't care if he makes TikToks. I don't care if he paints his nose. Hell, I don't care if he goes to the moon in the off season. As long as he is on Earth making threes and playing good defense for the Philadelphia 76ers, I could honestly care less about what he does with his life off the court. If he wants to make TikToks, if he wants to paint his nails, if he wants to do the Broad Street run, I could care less what he does. As long as he's on the court making shots, I could care less. Cole, anything about these topics?
I do have one about Jaron McCain. I love Jaron McCain. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great addition to this team. I want to start and say he shot 41 from the clip from three. He was better than Zion, or he surpassed Zion with like most points as a freshman. He had 35. He had two 30-point games in the tournament. He was elite in March Madness. He was averaging 15 points per game. That's minus he got 8 minutes in the first couple games. So I mean that brings your average down a little bit. But anyways, he was so good for Duke. I mean, I don't know why people are hating on him. I understand, he likes to paint his nails. So what? I actually like seeing his TikToks in the Sixers facility because he's getting in work. I mean, yeah, he might take a couple minutes to film a TikTok, but I'm happy to see him just in the gym. Something that I've never seen Harden post about. I don't think he's ever posted himself in the gym ever. Yeah, I mean. I don't understand. I also like how they drafted Bona out of UCLA. He's good. In the Pac-12.
He's pretty good. I mean, he's pretty good.
Of course. We need some more big men help on defense. So he'll probably be the third string.
I also think Paul Reed's gone. I think they're going to get rid of him.
I mean, as much as I love B-Ball Paul. He's not a good center.
I was so happy last year when they re-signed him, and now I don't care if he goes. We have Drummond. You might need a backup power forward, and it looks like not breaking news, but it looks like the Warriors are going after Markkanen. It looks like that's their number one priority. Now, hold on.
Just called it again, but for the wrong team.
I don't think that.
And then I had Markkanen. Oh, boy.
No, I don't. I think that they're going to go get him. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I think they're gonna get him. And this could happen soon. This could happen in the next coming days. I think this might happen in the next coming days.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna give up. The problem is I don't know if they're gonna give up Kaminga.
Yeah,
This is interesting. This is interesting.
They'll probably give up Moses Moody or probably give up Trace Jackson Davis and.
All right. Well, I'll be active on Twitter. I'll be active on Twitter about it. I'll be active on YouTube or whatever. But I think that's it for today. We'll have most likely have a podcast next week. We're always on edge because scheduling and all that. But yeah, that'll do it for the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. We will see you later.